Welcome back to the show, folks. I'm Dan. This is Engaged and Enraged.
JC, how's it going, guys?
Good, yeah. Sorry I haven't been with you here in a little bit, but we've been busy. Things are happening. Trying to keep up with Laugh.
That's for sure. That is for
Uh,
sure.
but we are back in it. We're gonna talk about we're gonna get into a little bit of Sam Sedar on the PBD podcast, the
It's
Valuetainment.
what's his name? Patrick
Oh
Bet
no!
David, right?
Yeah,
Is that it?
Patrick. Yeah, Patrick Bet David show, and he's got a couple of his sillies and billies there, as they call them.
Right.
Yeah.
I've been
Um.
watching Sam Cedar in the Majority Report, not since their beginning. That was, I wasn't interested in politics, but it was so a long time ago.
Yeah.
Long time. Watched for many years when Michael Brooks was still alive and on the show. He was
Yep.
fucking an amazing guy. I really learned so much of just different ways to like think on things. Like he had a lot of really good, always had spot on takes. I think he learned a lot from Sam. And they kind of like bounced off each other, and like Michael was the perfect like devil's advocate because he would do like what was it, the Muslim Brotherhood Obama, or
Yeah.
like all the
Yeah.
crazy, racist Mandela.
He was
like all
funny,
this.
man. He was a
He
funny
was
guy.
super funny, man, like really good impressions, but like he could play like like I would imagine like if he was still alive today, like he would be like you know doing BB Netanyahu impressions for Sam to fucking mock or something, or whatever. But
Right.
I sometimes wonder, even still today, especially with all the stuff with Israel and Gaza and stuff going on, like what Michael Brooks would say about it.
Oh,
But then I just watch, Majority Report, and I'm like, yeah, the spirit
mm,
lives on.
yeah. He would likely be fired up with what's happening for sure.
Oh, for sure. Definitely.
He'd probably be quite outraged, enraged, outraged.
He'd be enraged and
He'd be engaged too.
engaged.
He would
Yeah,
like
100%.
that's what we're trying to. What's
That's
up? What we're
kind of
trying to do here.
yeah, exactly.
So have you seen any of this? I watched the entire thing the other day when it was happening.
I
I watched it at
uh,
work.
I watched a little bit, like I was watching Majority Report today. I watched the main
Sort of
the main
recap of it.
half and the fun half, and they kind of got into it. And they didn't show obviously the whole show or anything, but
Yeah.
like it was kind of like Sam's take, like how he's when he was like getting on the plane coming back and like thinking back on it, and it was just
What did he
like
have to say? I didn't catch it. I was busy all day with the boys,
it
but
was just kind of like he was just like thinking of like different things he could have said to like their arguments or whatever, but like he was just mostly like he was like, I just kind of mostly just kept saying just Google it, because that
they
he's like,
seem
I
clueless.
found that's their way of like finding out if they're like finding info. And I'm like, yeah, that's a lot of people use fucking Google and the
Well, no,
internet,
of
I
course.
mean, for sure.
Just
But like,
query,
yeah,
like
but they
query
just
it.
didn't know. They didn't know a lot of shit, and like the
They don't.
PBD just kind of was like, well, let me look this up or whatever. And Matt, he's kind of got some dry humor. He was just kind of like, hey, maybe you could have done that before the show or something. Like because
Uh,
they're just kind of sitting around like,
Yeah,
oh,
looking stuff
typing,
up.
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I get it. Like
Just like,
we've
what the
done that,
fuck?
we've done that here or there,
Yeah,
but
for
like,
sure.
We are not the people who get outraged over every joke.
yeah. But like,
Uh, That's
All right,
called.
so
That's called.
let's. I thought this was an interesting point or section here where they talk about Social Security and like the immigration numbers, and Sam's trying to kind of explain, give his side of, they're looking at these numbers that Musk provided at the rally, uh,
Right.
about the influx of Social
Wisconsin
Security.
one?
Yep, yep. The influx of the Social Security numbers issued. And so Sam's kind of given his explanation for it as to, yeah, there were immigrants that came in throughout these years. And so that, they have to pay taxes, so they've got to have some sort of Social Security number issued to them, right? Like legal immigrants. Or just immigrants, like the illegal immigrants. So let's just go watch, and it's just funny. It's kind of interesting. Like you said, they're all kind of just like clueless, getting emotional and angry and yelling, and Sam has to turn them down and that kind of stuff. So let's watch a little bit.
Of when Elon Musk was in Wisconsin blowing up his whole brand, essentially. And he was on stage with a guy named Garcias. Do you guys remember this video?
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
It was like 2 days ago.
Yes. The Social Security numbers spiking in the last 4 years.
The Social Security
2.2
numbers.
million
yes.
new non-citizen Social Security
Yes.
numbers. Yes.
And the amount of misinformation from every single person, all of you, was astonishing to me.
What was it?
I-
What was the misinformation?
I
that
mean,
was said?
well, I almost feel like we should go through the whole video.
This is coming
But
from a
here it is.
socialist.
No,
You
no,
know
no.
the
No,
level
wait,
of
wait.
credibility you have as a
Listen,
socialist?
okay, listen,
A
progressive.
system
Let me
that has
progress.
never
Let me
worked.
listen to
But
it.
I want to hear
That-
it.
that-
But I
that
want to
is
hear it.
anti-
They're called- wait,
Let's
they're
hear it.
I want to hear it. I want to hear it.
We
I
wanna
want
hear
to hear
it.
it. Go for it.
First off,
Yeah.
Hold on.
Pause it for a second.
Yeah.
Hold on. Are they calling Sam a socialist?
Yes.
I-
He's
I
not
don't
a
know if
socialist.
I don't think he's a socialist.
He says that he's
I
somewhere
think
in here.
there's some socialist ideas.
He says
that
he's like a
likes, but, like,
democratic socialist in here. He says that
so like a
himself.
Bernie Sanders almost.
Yeah. Which we all know.
But
Yeah,
it's like,
what does that have to do with anything?
Even if he was a socialist, it's not, okay, he has decent ideas. He has good policy prescriptions. It's okay, sounds good. If that's what that is, but I think they're meaning it like when someone on the right says socialist, it's like so they can make the argument like to tie it to like the Nazis because like the fascists like co-opted a socialist movement, the brown shirts, and then like implemented the fascism.
But think about just what's happened just within this little argument. Sam hasn't even said anything other than that Musk. There was a bunch of misinformation that Musk and these guys are talking, and he's like, "Well, this is coming from a socialist." And it's like, well, we have let him get into what is the misinformation, and let's see what you guys' take is. Or like,
what is? I get what you're saying though. It's like, what does him being a socialist have to do with what you said?
It's like, okay, well, it's like you're a capitalist, so okay,
Exactly.
let's like actually talk about what the fuck we're actually going to talk about here, which is Social Security and the numbers in immigration. Like, what does this have to do with anything?
They all seem kind of goofy looking though, man. I mean, I'm a goofy looking guy, so I could comment, but like, the one guy looks like the Vinny guy. He looks like he's like, like he should be an extra from like, shit, what was it? Like some kind of fucking like Italian mobster.
Hold on, bro.
Yeah, mute that.
Damn it, I forgot my
Damn
shit.
YouTube.
My shit went down.
The premium.
these were not undocumented.
All right. Anyway, Vinny.
Oh no!
Vinny's gonna need a little. I don't know. He's gonna need a tampon. He can get all emotional here in a minute.
Immigrants who are getting these Social Security numbers.
Oh, Vinny
They are
doesn't know.
non-citizens. Now, when you came to this country,
There we go.
you were an immigrant. Your parents came legally.
Right.
Every single one of those people who got those Social Security numbers are here legally. They're not citizens, just like you weren't when you first came to this country.
Oh, God,
you
you're
get
such
a green card.
smug
Your parents
prick.
get a green card. They go through a process.
Yeah.
All of those people, and to understand, they got their Social
I
Security
see your point
card.
here. I really want to see your point.
Well, the point is, you referred to them as undocumented and illegal.
No,
you
no,
did.
I said non-citizen.
No, excuse me.
Don't say
Go-
everyone here.
go-
I said
okay.
non-citizen.
I
Correct yourself.
can't remember which one of you got it wrong. I
Yeah.
think you did.
Just be
right?
specific.
You're thinking, but I
We
don't-
can play the video and go through it, but
I'm still trying to get to the
I
point.
just
What's
want to
the
make.
point?
Well, the point is, they're not illegal. They're not undocumented. They're all legal.
Right.
The expansion from that program, the EBE program, which is enumeration beyond entry, was started under the Trump administration. The numbers have gone up because, yes, under Biden, as opposed to Trump, there was an expansion of people who were here, probably, I'm not sure.
A lot of illegals.
No,
10
excuse me.
10 plus million.
Not a single one of them.
Record-breaking
Not
number
a
of
single.
people
Hold on, you're
came
changing
in.
the subject now.
No, I'm not
I'm
changing the
talking about
subject.
that video.
Yeah.
And every one of those Social Security numbers
Let me
that
ask
was
you a
handed
question.
out.
So
Well,
how
let
do
me
you feel
finish
about the
now.
illegal immigrants
Hold
that
on,
came those 4
I
years?
will get to illegal.
You don't
Right.
care about those
He's
people.
trying
I
to
will get to
derail.
the
You cared about
undocumented.
children.
You don't want
Yeah.
to talk about
Okay.
this, and I don't blame you because it's
But wait,
embarrassing.
no. But let me do.
He's got the smile on his face. So this is one of my critiques. I watched this whole fucking thing the other day. Well, I didn't watch it. I listened to it while I was working. But it seemed like every time that Sam would make a great point, or just get into the minutia, the nuance of the discussion, it's just like he comes in, he's like, why do you think that the people voted for Trump? And it's like, well, dude, we're talking about motherfucking Social Security here in the immigration
Well, he was
numbers.
being super
Yeah.
fucking passive aggressive right there. He's like, I'm still waiting for you to get to the point, and it's like, well, you haven't let him fucking finish
Can we-
talking,
can we
and
ta-
then
yeah.
he'll get to the
Oh,
point,
right.
dummy. And then Vinny's like, still waiting for the fucker boy here.
It's like but he's
You wanna
like
get to
saying
the
like the point is like being developed and being spoken to,
Right.
Like you have to listen to the whole fucking
then,
thing to
like,
get to the
Sam
point.
fucking threw in a sick burn there too. He's like, "Yeah, I get you don't want to talk about it because it's embarrassing, but it's like, shit, bro."
Every
Let
one
me
of
do a
those
quick
Social
timeout here.
Security numbers.
Do a quick time out here. Sam, let me just do a quick time out. You said you don't want to talk about this. You just spun away from a question I asked you, and you brought this
let
up.
me
You
finish
haven't
the
even
video.
addressed the question I asked you.
Let me
Wait a
finish,
minute.
we'll get to the
point that I
illegal
asked. Let's go back to what I asked you. I asked you a question that the money that's going in, Americans prove that they don't trust the government getting the money than free market, free enterprise.
I don't think
you
that's
never
the case.
addressed that.
I don't think that's the case. People
American
love
would not
Social Security.
The
People love
the
Medicare.
expenditure. What
Okay.
we learned with Doge. The
Hold on.
American
No.
people said, Sam, enough of you taking our tax
Excuse
money
me.
and see what you're doing with it.
Elon Musk
Sam's
made
not
that
doing anything
Wisconsin
with the tax
election
money.
of a referendum on Doge. To the extent that we've seen anybody vote on Doge, nobody heard the word Doge before November of last year. To the extent that we've seen
Wait a minute, though, dog. Like, isn't the tax code the tax code that we've had through Biden is
It's Trump's
Trump's
old
tax policy, dude. It's the tax policy of 2017.
The tax cuts, that's the tax policy. It was for
Like,
10
so,
years or some
It's
shit.
like, I don't understand, dude. Like, how these fuckers, like, day in and day out, talk about like the tax policy of Biden, and it's like, no, dude. It's like,
it's like, this is the Trump
What?
tax scheme.
what are you talking about, dude? We're
It
under
was passed through Congress, signed by Trump. It was,
now. If we're talking about spending, okay, like that's a different thing. But like, as far as like revenues, taxes brought in by the government. It's
That's
Trump's
Trump's
tax
policy.
plan, dude. So
Trump's
fuck off.
policy. Well, it's just like his trade deal. He like is shitting all over the trade deal, saying, "Oh, we're getting robbed."
It's your
But it's
motherfucking
his
trip.
fucking trade deal.
We
He's
did
the
it on
one
our-
that renegotiated. We had NAFTA.
We
and
did
he's
the
like,
show.
Screw NAFTA. Yeah. Screw
We looked at
NAFTA. Yeah, I know.
It's like,
Yeah.
come on, dude. What are we talking about here? What are we
It's
talking about?
another case, again, as always and as usual, where this is exactly what they do. They break shit. And now they're like hammering Sam, being like, well, why didn't you guys fix Social Security after we've done everything in our power to fucking destroy it? We're actively trying to destroy it right now and saying like people hate it when people love it. It's like everything is just so much projection. It's all false. That PBD the whole time, like Sam was talking about like the non-citizens and shit, had like a little smirk on his face because he knows that Sam's right. He's not an idiot. It's his lived experience. He's a fucking immigrant, child of immigrants. You know, they came here from Iran. Like I was telling you earlier, if that was not the case, if we didn't have a system for letting fucking immigrants in through in legal ways, this motherfucker wouldn't be in Miami interviewing Sam. He would be in Iran wiping the Ayatollah's ass. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like
Yeah.
fucking goose stepping around Iran, probably in the military, or
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
maybe in some sort of fucking gulag out in the desert. I don't fucking know, but like,
You're a fair-minded human being.
Am I?
She's talking utter bullshit, isn't she?
yes.
You know what old PBD was thinking here when he got him. He was thinking,
What a fucking nightmare.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. I
Referendum
gotta
on
change
Doge.
the subject quickly.
yeah.
It just happened in Wisconsin. It happened in Florida, where the size of the win by those Republican congressmen was cut by 17, 20 points. I mean, this is a wipeout.
In Florida.
And every Republican, you're going to see a
most
difference in Republican
southern
lawmakers
state.
over the next year and a half, because anybody who was in a plus Trump 8 district or less is now starting to go like, wait a second. That's why Musk is being shown the door, supposedly. So getting back to my point about those Social Security numbers, they were given all to legal non-citizens. And every one of those cards, you can't vote, because I think you definitely said, and I think maybe you said, that this is a Democratic strategy to get voters. Hold on for a second. The Social Security card that they get literally says not legitimate for voting purposes. It is so that these non-citizens who are legal,
You're that naive.
just like when you
You're
came
that
in,
naive.
excuse me, pay into
You are
the
that
Social
naive.
Security system and get many of them.
So let's think about this, though. Let's hold up. Let's kind of think about this. So this whole immigration thing was just a ruse to get Democratic voters. And remember, Democrats rig elections where they always win. And they've got all these immigrants coming in. Yet they lost, and then PBD wants to claim that the whole entire USA has gone like to the right, and they're all Republicans now. It's like, how does this make any sense? Like, he argues in
Well,
this.
his argument on its face is just ridiculous, because it's like, okay, most immigration and what most people are even talking about is coming from Mexico, right? Or from South America, right?
Okay.
Those people voted overwhelmingly for Trump.
But
So how does
I'm
that?
saying.
No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
but
dude.
I'm saying the same thing essentially,
Yeah.
but like, you know what I mean? It's like how, but that's what it's so fucking. It's so obvious. You know what I mean?
It's like
It's so obvious.
they want both things. They're being like, Trump has a mandate. The country.
They want the illegals to vote because they're voting for Democrats, but really they all voted for all the legal people from the places that are, bitching about being illegals, immigrants from, voted to fucking keep those people out. They're like, yeah, deport the shit out of them.
Right, and
Get the criminals out. Whatever.
at some point in here, like PBD like rails Sam being like, the entire country has moved to the right, and everybody, it's not cool even being a Democrat anymore, and
No.
everybody's voting on the right. It's like he got stomped. You guys got stomped in
Who
the
cares
election,
about
and
being
it's like,
fucking cool?
so what is it? Is it that it seems like your theory of Democrats bringing in all these millions and millions and millions of illegals to vote doesn't seem to be working like you claim it is? You know what I'm saying? It just
Or
doesn't pass the
have
sniff
any
test.
kind of
you know?
like it doesn't. I mean, it just doesn't. It's not based on reality like most conservative ideas, talking points, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
Never get
So-
that money back. So, in addition to the undocumented immigrants who pay in $22 billion a year into Social Security and get zero back, these people pay several $billion in a year, and only if they become citizens, which most of them won't. Most of them will go back home over a period of time. They're here for temporary protected status. Maybe some of them are refugees and they get permanent citizenship. They won't get that money either. So every single thing of that video, this video here, was completely wrong
Vinny's about to.
that you guys did. It was
no.
fucking because I feel like
Oh, no.
you, at the very least,
I'm about to
I believe that you
explode.
care about the information
I make
you're putting out.
far worse jokes than that
And
on my
this
show
was
every
all
single day.
Wrong. And
So
you
they're
know,
up there. So Sam, this is all a lie. These guys were up there just completely bullshitting with all the numbers. Where he's saying that people
they're
in the
saying it's fraud.
government are blowing the whistles. He didn't want to say their names. He was giving them praise. And for Sam, for you to
This
say
is
that
all-
you care about the kids and the labor and all that stuff. We've had an open border for 4 years, and all the illegals, way more than 10 million, have come into this country. California, is that where you live?
no,
Where do you live?
I live in New York.
Okay, great, even better. California. So the amount of money that we spent on illegals with housing and all that shit, and Gavin Newsom passing a law that you don't even need an ID to vote. You're saying that we're coming up with where these people aren't coming in for the votes? That's the main goal of this whole thing. What was the open border for? Why was the border open for 4 years? Answer me that question.
First of all, the border was not open.
Give me a.
before-
Are you kidding me? Look at the. What do you mean the border
Sam,
wasn't
what do you-
open?
The
Are you
good
saying-
or the
hold on.
what,
Did you
no,
smoke
no,
before
no,
you
no,
came
no,
in
no.
here? That's ridiculous.
By the way, Vinny, here's the part
You're
though.
full of it, bro.
Here's the part.
Get outta here.
Sam, here's the part when I hear this. Okay.
Calm down, Vinny.
Anybody
Do
can
you
look
need
at that
you-
video.
Calm
The
down.
things you were
You're
saying
getting so emotional.
was a complete
Sam,
sack
Sam,
of
what-
lies
okay,
type
or
in-
just
Well,
misinformation.
be honest with me. The border,
Immigration year
Yeah.
over year over year. Type
Sam.
in illegal
no.
immigration year over year.
the fact that you're saying the border wasn't
do
wide
I
open.
turn
How
his
many
volume
deaths?
down a little
How
bit?
many deaths
He just doesn't-
have
Oh, the
happened?
video
How many
images,
fentanyl
yeah.
deaths have happened
There we go.
per
No,
year
we're good.
while your freaking president Joe Biden was in office? How many? Hold on.
The-
How many Americans died just from fentanyl? And you're saying the border?
So, what is it? Remember, like this discussion started about the numbers Musk had on the screen about the million, the few
So-called
millions,
fraud.
the few millions of people on Social Security. Like this dude is raging on like hotels in New York and people getting killed and stuff. He's, it's like. We're talking about like
fentanyl or whatever.
we're talking about Social Security numbers, bro. Like how those people got on there,
right.
what
and
it,
he's
what it
talking
means to
open
the system.
borders and- right.
wasn't wide open. We've had the most illegal entry
Biden
in 4 years
deported
in
way
the
more
history of the
people
country.
Dude,
than Trump did
and
during
this
his
is why
time, first term. That's just a fact. Biden deported way more actual criminals, not just like gay, barbers or soccer players or anybody with a tattoo, or, brown in the wrong town, dude. You know what I mean? Like Biden was deported a shit ton of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
so I don't know why they should love Biden if they're really wanting people fucking deported. Him and Obama deported the fuck out of people, dude. Like, but
has
you know
there
what? They
ever been? Has there ever been a president that has not deported people?
No, of course,
I mean,
of course
come
not.
on,
There's people
dude.
that need to be deported.
come
You know what I
on,
mean?
fuck off, this shit.
And I'm
Absolutely.
kind of like of the opinion of like why are we deporting dangerous criminals? Period. Why are we not putting them in prison? Don't they belong in jail? Like, shouldn't they face our justice? Like, why the fuck would we send, like, you come here from Venezuela, right? You come here and you're a gang member and you commit some sort of heinous crime. Why are we putting you on a plane and sending you back to, well, before Trump, he's sending everybody just to El Salvador, Guantanamo Bay or some shit, you know what I mean? But like
Mhm.
before, they would send them back to their home country. But it's like they're not, what are they going to court in their home country? No, they're just set loose on the fucking street. So it's like, why would we do that? Why should we do that? Why are we
Yeah.
deporting violent criminals? If they're violent criminals, who you're saying they're just going to come right back over the border and be violent criminals again, let's lock them the fuck up here. Like, we don't need to send them back home. Now,
Well,
if they're
your people would say, well,
non-violent,
why are we paying to house these people and do all this stuff for them?
because the fucking victims deserve to have justice. That's why, and it doesn't matter how much it fucking costs, because in the long run, it'll cost less than all the hardship of a criminal running around free in his own country or in our country. He's a fucking threat, dude. Like, I think there's a big misconception between, people thinking that Democrats don't want criminals off the street. Like, what?
Oh, well, it's just a narrative that these
Yeah,
fuckers
of
push.
course, dude. It's like, of course, we want fucking dangerous people out of our country or in jail. It's like
If anything, it's
that's
like
not a
projection.
blue or red
'Cause
thing.
these guys'
Exactly.
actions seem to point towards they want criminals out of out of prisons. Look at the
Right.
J6 folks. Look at some of the other fucking people
I mean,
that
their
he's
president's
pardoned.
a fucking felon, dude.
Uh-huh. They brought the Tate brothers over here. I
The
mean,
human
come on,
traffickers, right?
come on, man.
The sex crimes brothers.
Uh, I
Yuck.
saw something earlier that fucking Russell Brand, and he's all
His
tied up
sexual
in
assault and rape
hanging
allegations
out
in
with
Europe, UK.
fucking what's his name,
Diddly do.
um
He
the
was
hors
making
d'oeuvres
jokes
guy
about,
or charcuterie guy.
Doctor something or another.
Oz, Dr. Oz.
Dr. Oz.
God, yeah, what
You gotta get the carrots.
what timeline are we living in here? These people.
Let me finish. And this is why your party sucks. This is why your party is at 29% approval.
20%.
Because you got 20. Thank you. Because all you guys do is talk shit and just go anti-Trump. You have no policies. You guys have no vision. You have no leaders. You're talking about
He's got
oligarchs. And you hate the
Democrat
oligarchs.
derangement
Where do you think Bernie
syndrome,
Sanders
these
and
guys.
AOC are going to get their money from? Their donors.
Yeah.
Are you
Okay.
don't lie to yourself. For you to look at
Look how
like, brother, you're talking
deranged
about
he
yesterday we
is.
lied.
AOC and
Well,
Bernie
Looks like he's
Sanders
about to have a
Hold on,
fucking
wait.
aneurysm.
He's got such Democratic derangement syndrome, dude. It's crazy.
For
Those
this,
people.
you're saying that we lied 2 days ago.
DDR.
You just lied, and you're gonna look like a fool that the border wasn't wide open. Look at this chart. What does that chart say to you? Say, what is that? What did Trump, when Trump was in, he was trying to close it, but your party was fighting it. It's unbelievable how many illegals have come in the
Can we see?
past 100 days.
But it's like everything they've done, like on the right, is to slow down and gum up the works. Like they tried to get more judges in there to like adjudicate all these immigration cases. They blocked that. You know what I mean? Like they tried to get more border patrol agents and like again get more fucking judges approved, open up, like more districts for specifically just for immigration cases. You know what I'm saying? Immigration law cases. Block that shit. Why? Because it was a Democrat bill, dude. Like they don't they don't give a shit if it's good or bad for the people. It's like they care about if it's good or bad for the narrative. You know what I mean?
Well, it's
Or their
But this
rich donors.
Yeah, it's just silly.
Wait,
man.
wait,
It's
wait.
just like immigration. Look, it goes.
I mean, yeah, and it's like, look, we need fucking immigrants. Just make it.
This
We
is the
can make
part.
the system work. We can make it work. That's they make it seem like it's really hard, and
Yeah,
it's part of the
these guys
myth,
are all
dude. It's
immigrants here, dude. You know, like we
yeah,
get it.
exactly.
We're
It's
all
just they're
immigrants,
fucking being
dude.
disingenuous, dude. Yeah, unless you're a Native American, you're from
Like I saw
an
this
immigrant
video.
background, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
I saw this video the other day of some fucking clown. Oh, it was it ended up being Marjorie Taylor Greene's ex-husband. And he like rolled up on these Muslim
I saw that.
You saw that? Like
underage Muslim.
it's like, dude, you go back to your country, bro. Like you're not from fucking here either, dude. If you're
Right. Where your family originate from, not fucking here.
they were all like, we were born here. Like if I'm gonna go back to my country, I'm fucking here already.
I'm
Fuck
here.
off.
Right. It's like they're practicing their religion, which is about the
too
most
stupid.
American thing ever, dude.
He's too
Fuck
stupid
off.
to even understand that. That like you can be born here
Well,
and be
obviously
a
he's
Muslim.
stupid.
You know,
He
it's
married
like,
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh, God,
Jesus Christ, dude.
I'm surprised she didn't eat
Woo!
him. Like, you know,
Dude,
like
she's
pieces at a time. You know,
She's a butch broad, man. Like
I'm pretty sure she probably like, you know, she starts eating small pieces of people's toes and shit. Like she's weird. She's like that.
She's some kind of oni
Or she owns lizards and like chops off their tails just to like have them regrow back.
Slurps them
and, like,
down, right?
Eats more of them or something. I don't know. She's fucking
dude.
weird, bro.
She's a wild one, man. She's wild. Like, and she's just a disgusting bigot. You know what I mean? Like her ex-husband, that reporter guy. Obviously, he's got to be racist. I mean, why would you?
Do you think he's going to ask Kid Rock here soon, like why he fucking wore that silly clown suit in the highest office of the land?
Yeah,
Do you think so?
Probably not. JD Vance. Do you think that's the right attire? No, yeah, it was MTG's boyfriend. That's right.
Yeah.
Why don't you wear a suit?
Oh, goddamn, dude. Fuck off.
Why doesn't Elon Musk wear a suit? He was wearing a fucking t-shirt, wearing a kid around his neck while he was tripping balls on ketamine. Ketamine's fine.
Yeah.
Data. Illegal immigration, this is Wall Street Journal, is a bigger problem than ever.
Oh, no, that's
These
fake
five
news.
charts explain why. Go a little bit lower. That's under Biden.
Trump got shot trying to show these charts. Literally.
This is October of 2023. Go to the next one.
A guy who was registered Republican.
Here's another
Hold
one
on,
for
wait,
you.
can I address what?
Both of them were.
Yeah, right.
Let me address.
Go a little bit
And
lower.
the guy that blew himself up in
It's
fucking-
inaccurate.
This
This
is
is
a
another one.
Cybertruck.
Go
He was a Republican
Go back up to the.
And then go to the last one, Rob.
Go
Go to the last one, Rob.
Go to the top one here.
I mean, this is the
I'll go
numbers
through
you're
all of
talking
these
about.
charts.
So this is, you can
Start one by one. Go up.
explain every one of them. Go
Okay.
for it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you can see that this is what constitutes illegal immigration. These are, if it was an open border, you would not have these numbers. You would not have the numbers to
wasn't
know
open border,
when
you
Title
wouldn't.
42 ends,
Yeah.
more people are coming to the border and they're being put into a system. Period.
That's the best part about it.
And that's the
Because they were
definition.
told to come. Sam, let me explain something.
no,
when
no,
when
no.
your president
Can I-
says, come to the
Is he
country.
just gonna yell all the
No, I'm
time?
not yelling. You just give me facts.
Can I turn down his microphone? Because
You can, yeah. Just see which one he is. I think he's
right.
seat 3 or which one is it, Rob?
Four.
Seat 3.
Seat
You
3.
got to turn him down
Lower
because
that right there.
he
And
just
then the
fuck,
mic.
Right there.
all he does. His default is I'm fucking.
Scream.
I'm emotional and I need to yell at you.
Four. It's 4 over here. Hey, turn it down on 4. I can't hear my symbol.
It's like all I want to do is yell.
Volume,
Can you,
just
is that
lower.
good? Is that good?
Seat
Oh,
two.
You got a
two.
man
There
buzz.
you go.
dude.
Okay, go for
How
it.
can you take
Go
that
ahead.
guy seriously?
Okay, go ahead.
You know
All
what
right.
I mean?
So
Okay, go ahead.
You're still going to hear the truth.
Okay,
though.
go ahead.
no, I'm happy to.
Yeah.
Can't turn down the truth. Is
No,
what
you
you're saying.
can't.
Open border would mean that we have no records of people coming across the border. The law in this country has been that if you put your foot in this country, it's an international law, it's a U.S. law. If you put your foot in this country, and you apply for asylum,
Come on, Sam.
you are due a
It's just
process to
it's
do
just
that.
easier to say.
It's been 2
It's
years
just
since that
easier to say
disaster
open
struck. The
border,
city's
Sam.
population is now sparse.
Fuck you.
Damn
God
commercial.
damn it. Ah, come on. Where'd you come
Ah,
from? What are
it's all
you
right.
doing?
We can move on to the next segment though.
All right.
I don't want to listen to that guy whining and crying anymore. My God. He's
Okay.
nearly wet in his pants, like, because Sam was like accurately describing. It's like, dude, it's just nonsense to think that, like, yeah, okay, under Biden, yeah, like the border patrol wasn't like, checking the cars and stuff coming. It's like, dude, come on. Come on.
It's
You're
never been
being
the case,
so
bro.
disingenuous, so ridiculous. Yeah, it's like you said, it's just easier to scream, open, the border was open. The border was open. It's like, dude, well, apparently it was more open under Trump because Biden deported more motherfuckers. So,
Mm-hmm.
hello. And it's like, ask Nebraska how they feel about fucking open borders right now. Or like in any agricultural heavy state, or places where there's a lot of like I don't know, like infrastructure being built, like down south. you know, or like anywhere there's construction happening. Like we last year we had we had a giant hailstorm, and insurance came and they're like, you need a new roof. We called the roofer guy. Guess who showed up? A white dude, but his crew was all Mexicans. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? They were great. They did a great job. Like
Yeah.
they were fast. They got it done 2 days. Big ass roof. They did both of it. Like
Now,
hardworking
do you
mofo's.
think
But like,
do you think they were all documented and accounted for legally?
I don't know. Probably not.
Just okay.
Maybe so. I don't know. Usually, but not always. Like, I don't know. I've had a lot of, I worked, you know, some gas stations way back in the day, and like a lot of like immigrants would come in. And usually the case was is like the parents didn't speak much English, but the kids spoke English, and the kids would talk, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But like usually people like after they've come through legally and stuff, usually they speak some English. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good way to tell, like, if they don't really speak English, like you don't know.
Yeah.
I and ultimately, like, I don't know. I wasn't gonna call ICE on them
No, no,
or
no,
anything,
no. Not that I would suggest that. It's just
No, no,
like
no, no, no. I
it's
wasn't
just
taking it
always
that way, but
interesting to like
for our
when.
viewers, like I'm not like I don't care,
Mhm.
like we need people to work. I don't care what these Republicans say. Maybe not now because they're destroying our economy where people can't even fucking run their businesses and shit, but like when a competent president was in charge, like we needed workers. Apparently now we don't need them in government. Apparently we don't need any workers out in the field picking vegetables or harvesting almonds or anything. Everything's, I guess, going to be done by Doge and AI. I guess AI
Liberation
is going to
Day.
go out and, yeah, it sounds more like Judgment Day, T2 style. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, well, let's fucking let's get into this
Yeah,
well,
let's get into
you
this
want
Ben
us
Shapiro shit.
you set it up for us here, bro. I set up the
So
last one.
this is a video I watched earlier. It's Adam Mockler. He is kind of displaying Republicans making sense. And it's hard. It was like almost like a cognitive dissonance thing for me earlier because it was like Ben Shapiro was like saying things that were objectively true. You know what I'm saying? And it was really weird. It was really fucking weird. So Mockler's going to kind of set it up here, but like Ben Shapiro is making a financial argument and a correct one about Trump's financial policies, and you can let it roll.
All right.
American worker likes to buy cheap goods as well, so don't get it twisted. But also, like half of Americans are invested in the stock market in some way, and the stock market falling doesn't mean we're in a recession. I know that there are many indicators to take into account, mainly the GDP when talking about a recession. But the stock market falling does have scary implications. This is what I've been saying. And Ben Shapiro says something similar.
That Main Street is totally disconnected from Wall Street, that it's just a few people at the top of the food chain who are playing with the money. That is not actually true in any way, shape, or form. And obviously the stock market, as a sort of gauge of investor confidence, makes a large-scale difference in availability of liquidity for startups and being able to raise money to, for example, hire new people. If the stock market tanks by half, that's a pretty good indicator, for example, that bad things are happening. And if the stock market continues to gain steadily, that's an indicator that maybe some good things.
Is this the best?
Oh, man.
I gotta re-up on that shit. Sorry, guys.
I've been saying when Biden handed off the economy to Trump, it was perfect.
Slipped through the cracks.
Not perfect. I'm not going to say perfect, but the stock market was hitting all-time highs. We stuck the soft landing. Unemployment was at the perfect level. Our relationships with allies were strengthening. I'm not going to say it was perfect. I shouldn't have said that, but the Biden economy was pretty
damn good.
Strong
Really damn
by
good.
all indicators. So, I mean, let's continue to listen.
And this isn't too tough. It's not too sophisticated. Doesn't mean that every time there's a little bit of a sell-off, it's the end of the world. And it doesn't mean that every time there's a run-up, that means that amazing things are in the brewing. What it does mean is that ignoring data is not, in fact, a good form of analysis. The stock market does provide data, and in fact, we have lots of it. Investors have been shaken by President Trump's tariff regime. They're not sure what to expect. They're not sure what comes next. There are a lot of conflicting messages coming out of the White House. So yesterday, the U.S. market suffered its steepest decline since 2020 on fears that President Trump's new tariff plans would trigger a global trade war and drag the United States economy into a recession, according to the Wall Street Journal. Major stock indices dropped as much as 6% on Thursday. Stocks lost roughly $3.1 trillion in market value. That is their largest one-day decline since March 2020. And of course, March 2020 was COVID. And this is not being inflicted by an external shock, like, for example, COVID. This is being inflicted by a deliberate choice by the Trump administration. A little while.
This is Ben Shapiro
That's objectively fucking true. That is 100% fucking true coming from Ben Shapiro. It's scary shit.
Shredding into Trump. I'm sorry, but a lot of people say in my comments, Adam, I get so frustrated when you play clips from one of the worst people ever, and I agree. I get it. We disagree with him on 99% of things, but I just want to let you into my strategy really quickly. When prominent right-wing MAGA voices criticize Trump, that's a crack in the MAGA wall, and we should highlight that. We should hit that crack and try to...
This kid's sharp, man.
Well,
this kid's also, his he's of Syrian descent, so he also knows about immigration. You know what I mean? Like his grandparents and whatnot, came here, and his parents were, I don't know if they were born here or whatever, but obviously he was born. Adam was born here, and it's like, look, why? We can't just boil people down to like skin tones or like former nationalities or just nationalities, period. It's like the right wants to talk about a meritocracy and stuff. It's like, well, we've got a bunch of hardworking people that came from other countries that are like, come here, they work their ass off. Like they should get rewarded for that. The same as, American citizens, it's like the reward should be that they become a citizen, like we could have like really smart things, in place, like, you work 5 years, and yada, yada, different statutes, whatever, regulations, you meet all these criteria, you do your thing, crimes, no, whatever, you work the whole time. Take, stay up on your bills, whatever, boom, you become a fucking citizen, and let's not make it that damn hard.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just
that's a way of documenting everyone and like getting like order to, it's like, look, you don't have to come here illegally, you could come here, there is a pathway, you know what I mean? We need the workers, man. We need them. I don't give a shit what the Republicans say. Like, there's jobs that people from this country will not do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, unless
Not for the
unless you're
price.
wanting to eat in on your profits some, maybe you, instead of
Right.
making the whatever, the $5-6 million, you only make 2 or 3, but you pay people worth fuck.
Why did it?
Right.
But like I think there's racism, there's this skin color aspect of it, but then I think there's like this whole sort of like this entitlement or like a fear of like not only like the person, the American citizen, a fear of like them not having the ability to get what they feel like they're entitled to because they're an American citizen. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
or like even they're the kids. Like, well, if we let all these people in and they're taking the jobs, so what does that do for my kids? And it's like, well, but like, if we're going to continuously, like, if in a capitalistic framework, we're always continually going to have growth, then that means that there's always going to be more jobs, more productivity, more, you know what I'm saying? Like, you would
But
think
there's no growth when you like basically you bankrupt everybody except for the rich people. Like there's no growth there. Like what you get like that whole that's just like when you let a little kid like run your checkbook. All you're gonna get is fucking ding dongs and soda pops. No bills are gonna get paid. They're gonna be buying Roblox subscriptions and shit. You know what I mean? That's kind of like what's going on. These billionaires are like crafting the tax plans and whatever. They're fucking rigging the system so they get all the money. But it's like they don't think about the end game. There is no growth. The We could see what happens when you let their policies run wild. Is what happens. Is happening right now. The stock market is fucking tanking. And the only people that benefit from that are the extremely wealthy because they can buy the fucking dip essentially. Like, oh,
yeah.
everything's fucking cheap as fuck. Well, it doesn't really affect me because I'm richer than God himself. And I
Mhm.
can buy up all this shit. I can buy all my fucking stock back up because I don't give a fuck if it tanks. I don't care if it goes through the floor and beyond. They don't care. They're already fucking so wealthy they can never get rid of their money. If they like, I don't know, they showed like how much money Elon said something about like, oh, there was $40 million or $1 billion left in a car of like, you know, actual physical money, and they're like, that's literally not possible. Like you would need like pallets and pallets full of money,
Mhm.
50 $100 bills, just stacks and stacks and stacks of it to even equal like $1 billion, and then like Elon's got 400 something, 300 something, like,
Uh-huh.
or even if you had 6 billion, it's like uh, that means this recession that's coming, this crash, like it's just that's an opportunity for them. For us, it's life or death for some people. You know what I mean? For us, it's like we can't buy a car anymore. We can't buy a house. So it's like how do you get growth in your economy when nobody has money to spend on anything? It's the same as like like Ben Shapiro just said. It's the same as like what happened in COVID, except there is no external factor. Like there's no pandemic. There's no thing that's saying people can't work. It's literally just their shit policy, dude.
Mhm.
Their shitty policy. Their greed, greedonomics, dude. They take every fucking thing without willy nilly, without thinking at all about the consequences, because they just don't care. Why should they? You know what I mean?
Well, they'll
I'm
have to,
not
man. They
saying
got
they're
enough money.
justified, but Why should they do whatever? Everything in society has like uh nurtured this. You know what I mean? This capitalistic system has
Hmm.
nurtured, like our last show when we were showing like that clip from Wall Street, the movie Wall Street, where he's like, greed is good.
Oh yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, yeah, like that's the mentality, dude. Like people think, oh, well, if they made a lot of money, that means they're really smart. So when they talk, I really pay attention because obviously they have to be really smart. But like, look at all the billionaires; they're dumb as fuck, man. Elon's so dumb. That Palantir guy, Teal, dumb as a box of rocks, dude. You got a couple that are pretty smart. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
I think they're smart in ways. I think a lot of people are smart in some ways, but then they can be fucking dumb in a lot of ways. This is just,
right.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's this like, but like
I think
you
it is
said,
good.
he he owns this, man. I mean, think about it. Like, remember when the stock market was like we were having like record highs, like leading up
Highs.
to the election, and Trump would be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, it's high because people are
Excited about me winning.
and it was like months away, right? We're
Right.
now in it. We're months into it, and this is what the markets are doing. So it's like, I don't know how you can not own it. You're owning this, bro. Like this is all a result of your
He
shit.
has to own it. You can't blame fucking Biden on this. You can't blame Democrats. Like if you just look at the facts, Democrats make money. They make the economy go boom boom every fucking time, dude. Clinton, Obama, Biden, every fucking one of those guys uh, set the economy up, and that's after they spent a year fixing it. You know what I mean?
It just
Because
seems
like
like a whole like big wealth transfer cycle to me. The whole like recession, growth periods, and then recession. Because like I don't know, sometimes I think about it. And it's like I think that's why they hate Social Security so much because they
they can't
can't
get their
like
hands on it.
with
Well, they
401ks
could
if you.
before.
So it's like I don't know. It's like in a way, like with the 401ks, you get all the people in society, or not all, but like you got all these people investing into these 401ks for like 4, 8,
50% of
10,
working people, essentially.
15 years, and they like all this value is gained from it. But then seems like every around that time, like every 10 years there seems to be a recession where like all that value in those fucking things are lost. But
Yep.
like you said, it's like 80%, 83% of the stocks are owned by like 10% of the wealthiest folk
The
or
wealthiest people.
Americans. Yeah, it's like so.
Right.
It seems like I'm not like trying to be conspiratorial in any
Well,
or something,
think about. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
it's just like it just seems like this cycle of, and I think that's why they want to like privatize Social Security is because like they know that like the cycle will get to a point where they can like buy back in after it crashes out and make more fucking money. You know what I mean? While all the
Well, they
people with
want
their 401ks lose all that value.
Well, I mean, they want to. That's why they want to break it, so
Mm.
they can. Again, it just goes to like I keep saying, man. They break things, and then they blame the Democrats for not fixing it fast enough, dude. Like it's part of the cycle, like you just
Mm-hmm.
said. Like Republicans come in, they scream that they're conservatives, but they
No.
spend like crazy.
Yeah.
They give these giant fucking massive tax cuts, and then these fucking idiots, Republican voters, are like, "Oh yeah, we got a tax cut." No, you didn't. The last fucking tax cut, like our taxes, we got our tax money got less. We got
Mm.
less money because of fucking Trump, his tax plan. Rich people got more money. We didn't get fucking more money. We didn't get nothing. We got less.
Right.
And now they want to redo that and make it more.
Right.
So and then he fucks the economy. You know, most people have lost, like they were saying, I saw today that most people have lost from their 401ks on average $8,000. $8,000, bro. That's a huge, I mean, that is a huge drop in someone's retirement money. I mean, just think about that. 8 stacks, man. Because of fucking Trump, because of Republicans, not because of Democrats' policy. Democrats' policy always be banging the fucking economy. Always. Without fail. They want to make you want the economy to do good, vote for a fucking Democrat. You want to have workers for your field, Nebraska? Vote for a fucking Democrat. You want to get taxes fixed? Vote for a progressive.
Well,
with a progressive fucking tax plan.
Let's just institute like a real actual fucking policy that like has, you know, fucking meaning and like results in mind, you know? Not whatever's just more profitable for the big fucking companies.
It's almost like we need to think about like what happens to the people first before like what happens to business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if that was the focus of our Congress was like, we're focused on making sure people are taken care of, making sure that people are set up right. They're not getting taken advantage of, and then boom, then we'll think about fucking business. Because that's also important, you know, people need jobs, but we also need these businesses to know their fucking place again. You know, you are not the overlords you think you are. You know, we can and will shut your shit down, or we'll not privatize it. We'll fucking nationalize your fucking business. We'll take it. You know what I mean? We're gonna recoup some of our losses from your pocketbook. You know what I'm saying?
What businesses? What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, just these corporations.
Oh,
you know, these people think they fucking own everything and can do everything that they want just because of these giant businesses that they own and shit. Sorry, the fucking cops are probably trying to arrest some illegals or something. They're going fucking crazy down the street.
No, there's probably just some junkies, right?
Probably some white dudes in red hats. Oh no, that sounds actually like the fire truck.
Oh,
yeah.
We got some
we've been having some
storming,
really
right?
crazy storms. Yeah.
There's some powered, or not powered, but some trees down or something on the road.
Yeah, hopefully it's that and not some crazy accident. Let's see.
Okay, that's crazy. But yeah, man, you know, it's these guys out here, I tell you.
Yeah. I do want to shout out just briefly, just because you know we do cover a lot of doom and gloom and stuff, and we should shout out some like some good progressive people, and I just wanted to shout out my governor, JB Pritzker. Like if you ever see this, we'd love to fucking interview you. But like there's a lot of, you know, obviously there's a lot of good governors, and governors usually tend to make pretty good presidents because they're already, you know, running a state, you know, and like you can usually tell like by how well they run their state, like how well they would probably run the country. One of the people I think is Tim Walz, great governor, but also my governor, JB Pritzker. Yeah, no, leave him up.
Yeah.
Just a couple. We have, you know, Gretchen Whitmer is also a good governor from Michigan. But I know more about like what JB Pritzker's done. I voted for him twice. We elected him in 2018 and we also elected him in 2022. And he had the highest vote share of any Democratic governor in the last 60 years. He was like overwhelmingly voted in. There was a little bit of goofy shit between him and Blagojevich, but he was completely cleared. Blagojevich was the dirty governor, very corrupt. We've had a history
Yeah, it says he
in
chaired
Illinois of.
Oh, sorry, go
But
ahead.
no, that's all good.
Yeah, it just says he chaired the Illinois Human Rights Commission from 2003 to 2006 under Blagojevich.
I think the situation though with that uh was because like when Obama became president, his seat was open. And I think Blagojevich asked him if he wanted to be nominated, not to that seat, but to a different part, a different part of government. And he was like, yeah, sure. And he's like, look, there's nothing illegal about like discussing a potential, an opening, and doing whatever. And I was like, yeah, okay. But, it's kind of like the association with Blagojevich is a little, but I digress. But he's not, I was a little skeptical of him at first, like, just because he's a billionaire and we know how things go with billionaires. But dude has been super progressive. He was really good during COVID. And what I found was really nice. He just listened to the science and just went with what doctors were saying, what the CDC was saying, what his own health, people were talking about was great. He legalized recreational pot. I'm a big fan of that. He expanded abortion rights. It's huge. I think he declared Illinois, the state of Illinois, as like a sanctuary state for, peaceful, non-criminal immigrants, so um we also had like a major pension crisis when he took over, which was basically like state government workers, their pensions like were supposed to be getting paid out by the state, but the state hadn't allocated enough money to pay them correctly. He pretty much took care of that shit, balanced the budget for like the first time in a long time, like literally got rid of our debt to where now we're in a bit of a surplus, I believe. He also just passed a huge criminal justice reform called the Safety Act, which did a whole bunch of stuff, like got rid of like cash bail, so it's basically you're not a fucking a debtor in a debtor's prison if you get in trouble. They basically left it up to the judges instead of saying a certain amount to get out, or whatever. It's basically like the judge assesses like what your crime is, the flight risk, all the factors, and then determines whether you should be released or not before your trial, which I think is a much better system, you know. Plus a bunch of other things, he got rid of like they banned chokeholds, so from the police officers and made it so that police officers couldn't use certain military gear, because like there is a problem with like the militarization of the police. It's like I'm a proponent of that. Other things to do with firearms, yada yada, tons of stuff. But a lot of people have been talking about him for a presidential run next time. I think he would be great. The only thing is I kind of don't want him to go anywhere because he's been such a damn good governor. He's also been very critical of Trump, and he did a state of the state address where he called out Trump and basically called him a Nazi without even saying his name, but like rightfully made some great points. So just wanted to shine a little light. Occasionally we're gonna talk about the bad Dems, like the old boomers that need to go, the Schumas,
the old boomer Schumer that needs to
the
get with Loomer.
Pelosi's, yeah. I don't know, man. But yeah, dude, you know, we do what I guess what I'm trying to say is we do have some people that are good, you know, objectively pretty good. You know, like
Yeah.
nobody's perfect. You know, yeah, this guy's a billionaire. That does bother me, but like he's also been incredibly progressive, dude. Like incredibly progressive, and he's just like he's been no scandals. You know what I mean? There's been no like you only hear about him when he like is saying something good, which is you know like refreshing to
Yeah.
have politics like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, we'll see. You know, we'll see how he steps up to the fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we can talk and talk and talk, right? But we'll see how he does. I mean, like I said, maybe he done some great things so far, and especially if you compare him to Rauner, which was
Oh God.
he was
Yeah.
kind of a silly goof. That guy
Who made
there's like
he
a
made
Bush.
that pension
He
probably
was like Bush
way
Light
bigger.
or something. You
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
know? So
The
that
Republicans
was
have
fun.
always just been so fucking disgusting, dude. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, they're just weird. They're
yeah,
weird. So
dude.
weird.
I don't know why they muzzled Tim Waltz. That guy is such a fucking gem, dude. Like, they should have let him say whatever the fuck he wanted. He's sharp and he's funny, dude. And like that shit is just like you know off the cuff, man. You can't like you could tell like after he got a talking to by some stupid ass fucking operative somewhere because he like was all nervous for the debate and shit. Whereas before he was like that first like week or two or the first month, like shit was energized, dude. You know, people were pumped up for Kamala, people were pumped up for Walls, and then all of a sudden they like changed tact and we're fucking bringing fucking you know Cheneys and shit up on like what? I don't know. Like let's just say like that should be a warning to the next campaign. Like don't fucking hire any of those people that came in and they don't know shit.
Like the John Favreau's and the what's his
Yeah,
name?
that dude from the Cajun
Vitor.
guy.
Vitor
Yeah,
Utami and James Carville.
James Carville, fuck's sakes, dude. Yeah, no. Those guys don't know shit. They don't know shit, man. But yeah, hey, I think that was pretty good. I think we should leave it there. I don't know about you, but
Yeah,
I got some crazy lightning out my window, and I think
storming going on. We might, we don't need your computer getting all fried out.
Nah, I don't want to fry it. So
We'll call it quits, man. That was a good little deal. Thanks for joining us, folks. We're just here talking the news, talking the politics, giving our opinion. We're gonna be calling out. We're gonna be here as opposition, resistance.
Yes.
We're here for the fight. So
we'll catch you next time, guys.
Yep. Thanks for tuning in. Do a like and subscribe. Help us out any way you can. That'd be appreciated. Feel free to join our Discord channel. Links in the description for the YouTube.
And leave us an awesome comment. Like, you know, if you think we're a bunch of wankers and we're full of crap, like, you know, let us know. Yeah. If you really liked it. We've been getting some decent comments, like some really good ones. And yeah, keep them coming, guys. We like it. I like reading them. Gives me a good laugh.
All right. Well, just to see you guys off.
He looks good. And he looks hard.
Yeah. All right. You guys take it easy now. See ya.